I have something really interesting planned for next week's episode, but in order to get there, first I needed to go here, to Lagavulin. This is one I've been wanting to review on the channel for freaking ever, especially the Lagavulin 16. Tonight I'm here with the Lagavulin 8, because I thought I'd start at kind of the lower age range and then work my way up. So sometime early next year, I'll probably review the Lagavulin 16. Mostly because I really want to, so it's going to become kind of a priority for me. But, needless to say, welcome to the Whiskey Dictionary, where I do the research to try to teach you a little something about what you're drinking. So, let's talk Lagavulin. A little while back, I reviewed the Lagavulin 9-year-old, which is one of the Game of Thrones releases, and I was actually just looking for the bottle a few minutes ago. It's the only one I don't have from the Game of Thrones. Now, I had it, but it just means it's one of the only ones, or actually the only one that I've finished. So I must have liked it. I kind of don't remember, but I'll put the review up there if you feel like going and checking it out. Anyway, talking about Lagavulin, it's been around for a very long time, over 200 years. In 1816 is when they actually, I guess you'd call it legally, became a distillery, but there was records of distillation on the location back until from like 1742, something like that. So, and there were about 10 different distilleries in between, or people calling themselves distilleries. Either way, there's a lot of history on this location, and being able to say that you're one of the first distilleries in Islay is something that they all want to be able to do. So it's worth mentioning. Now, Lagavulin, as far as the name, and I'm sorry if I say this wrong, I know that there's some of you out there who will be offended, but Lagavulin is likely an anglicization of the term, or the word, Lagavulin. Now that means hollow of the mill, and you'll come to realize why in a little bit. The distillery is located on the southern coast of Islay, and it's in between both Ardbeg and Laphroaig. In fact, it's so close to Laphroaig that they have a bit of a history together. Now, I talked a little bit about this back on my Laphroaig video, but I'll give you a little recap. Laphroaig used to give whiskey, not give, but they would source whiskey from Laphroaig over to Lagavulin. This is back when Laphroaig was not kind of doing their own single malt thing. But eventually, they realized there was a lot of money in single malt, so they stopped supplying Lagavulin. Lagavulin was none too happy about this and tried to essentially take the master distiller from Laphroaig and recreate Laphroaig. This is when the concept of microbiomes became very apparent, because although they're extremely close geographically, Lagavulin was unable to recreate the taste of Laphroaig, even having their master distiller on hand. So, kind of an interesting concept and showing how much a little tiny bit of space can really matter when you're talking about microbiology. So, interesting thing. Now, let's talk a little bit about what Lagavulin offers. So Lagavulin has the 16. Everybody knows about the 16. If you don't know about the 16, you probably do now. But the 16 is kind of the flagship of Lagavulin. And they have been putting it out for a number of years. Everybody loves it. And because of the fame that this thing brought around maybe somewhere, I think it's 1989, they started really getting popular with the 16. They've started doing additional expressions. And lately, they've been doing a 12-year-old that is at much higher proof, I believe cask strength, and it's a limited edition every year. But they also decided to put out this 8-year-old on the 200-year anniversary of Lagavulin. So, speaking of which, let's get into this. All right, so I am excited to pour this. I kind of spent a little bit of time with this on a, not Zoom, but Skype call the other day with some friends. And, I'd had a bad day at work, and I figured I would just kind of do a little bit of research while chatting with them. This goes down, for me, who is a peat lover, this goes down real easy. And I had been through either 3 or 4 of them before I knew it, and I had to cut myself off because it was starting to get a little silly. But let's go ahead and give this a nosing and a taste. So, all right. So this is a smell that makes me happy. I love smoke. I love peat. Specifically, just I like when you can define a peated whiskey as smelling clean. I like the acrid ones. Honestly, I just like it all, right? But in this case, clean and just what's the term? All right, let me more do it this way. So when you smell this, you're not going to get a harsh smoke smell compared to other peated whiskeys. Don't get me wrong. If you are unused to peated whiskeys, this is going to smell like nothing but smoke to you. But for the seasoned whiskey drinker, this smells like it was done on purpose. It smells like this smoke was crafted to be exactly how it is. It wasn't just, let's heavily peat this thing and just blow people's socks off. This is done on purpose, because not only are you smelling the smoke, you're smelling grass, you're smelling lemon, you're smelling sea salt. Man, it's just good. It smells really good. Maybe it's because it's my first dram of the night, but this is just bringing me to my happy place right away. This is one of those whiskeys that when you smell it, you get prepared to drink it. Speaking of which, cheers. Let's just let that roll around in your tongue a little bit. Letting that just sit in your mouth and enjoying this crisp, clean, beautiful smoky whiskey. It's just really good. Maybe I haven't reviewed an Isla on this channel in a little while, but it's just good. So some more tasting notes other than just it's good. First thing that you're getting, again, clean smoke, not acrid. It's not harsh. It's not for a seasoned whiskey drinker, it's not hard to drink. In fact, it's very easy, and you probably could do it very quickly, as I did. Lemon comes through on the taste as well. Again, that's probably like the second thing I would taste. One thing that I think is interesting is with me, although this tastes like kind of salt, like ocean water, this tastes, and this is going to be a little dramatic, but it tastes like getting a mouthful of seawater, except a little bit more diluted than that. And that's a flavor I love. I mean, I love swimming, I love the ocean, and so anything that reminds me of maritime or salt air or sea salt, it just makes me really happy. And that's what this whiskey is doing. I mean, this is one of those times where you as a viewer, if your palate tends to align with mine, you're going to like this whiskey a lot. If you don't know me, and this is the first time you're ever seeing me, I mean, I generally don't blow things too out of proportion. This is just one I'm really enjoying. So, grassiness as well. I kind of want to just keep having a couple more sips. Give me a minute. If you get really down deep in there, I'm getting a couple of different fruit notes, and specifically banana, but that's real mild. If you get that one, good for you. A little bit of, it's a berry of some sort. I'm trying to place it exactly. I'm already through any notes that I've taken in my list here. I'm trying to pick out more stuff because I do like to do that on the videos. I do my research behind the scenes, and I like to try to always find something more in the video. You know what this has? What is that? Maybe it's a little bit of oak, a little bit of just a little bit of wood to that, but it's this drying sensation in your mouth as well that you typically get. Like you might get that from kind of a higher proof, which makes sense. This is 48%, but I think as far as nuance, that's most of what I'm getting right now. If you guys are getting anything else in this, by all means, put it down in the comments. I love reading you guys, your responses on that, because I go back, not all the time, because usually I'm getting your comments while I'm at work. But a lot of times, if I get something that I'm just totally like, there's no way, I'll go back, I'll retry the whiskey. And sometimes you guys are right. Crazy, right? I don't know everything. Isn't that weird? All right, so let's talk a little bit of overall here. Clearly, I like this whiskey, but let me talk, there is room for improvement here. This is an 8-year-old whiskey. For Scotch, you don't get a whole lot of 8-year-olds. For something to taste this good at 8-year-old, and in my area, it's $45 for this Scotch, I think that's like a buy it, for sure. On my rating system of ignore it, try it, buy it, stock it, this is a solid buy it. Solid. But I wish there was a little bit more complexity in the taste. As you heard, I only probably got like 4 or 5 different tasting notes out of here. And, I've had a little bit of this. It's down probably about a third of the way. I haven't gotten much more. It's not, so there's people out there that will get a little bit more from this than I did, for sure. But I don't think that there's a whole lot more to get. And as a casual whiskey drinker, I would be surprised if you get much more than that as well. Either way, I still think that this is totally worth a buy it from my point of view. And yeah, that's it. So I want to tell you guys about what I'm doing next week because I kind of hyped it a little bit at the beginning, or teased it, I should say. So I wanted to do a little bit of a challenge for myself. This is the Lagavulin 8. This is the Ardbeg 10. This is the Laphroaig 10. I'm going to see which one I like the most in kind of a blind tasting challenge for myself. You may have seen the other one I did. It was a little bit more painful on the Johnnie Walker Red, the Black Velvet, and the Proper 12. This one should be a lot more fun for myself, and I don't think there's going to be a loser, but I'm very excited. So definitely tune into that next Thursday, and that'll be a fun one. Last little thing, the Whiskey Dictionary, I have them on sale because it is Christmas time. If you're looking for a stocking stuffer or to get somebody kind of a last minute gift that loves whiskey, this is a good one. And I've also put it on sale. I'll put the promo code down here because I kind of forget what it is. I think it's whiskey. I'll put it down here. This is a good buy, honestly. This is something I've kind of put a lot of effort into, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So check it out. And go to the store at thewhiskeydictionary.com. So thank you very much for joining me here on the Whiskey Dictionary, and I'm going to go finish this class. Cheers.